How to create access points in Access to Memory. Access points are subject headings for archival entries in Access to Memory and are part of a faceted classification system that provides additional context and makes searching easier for researchers. Each category of access points in ADaM is referred to as a taxonomy, and each individual access point is a term. Each access point term represents a specific component or element within a taxonomy. For comparison, think, for example, of online shopping. After you search for a product, you can often use taxonomies such as color, price, or size to filter the results you are shown. In the taxonomy of color, red, yellow, and blue would be the terms. Access points also kind of act like hashtags on websites such as Twitter, providing additional context to authority records or archival descriptions in ADaM, and connecting said entry to all other entries with that tag. Unlike hashtags, access points are part of a controlled vocabulary that is decided by your institution, such as Library of Congress subject headings. There will be a separate video on controlling taxonomies and on how to search using access points. In general, using access points will make it easier for researchers to search and find your archival material. These are the categories, i.e. the taxonomies, of access points associated with each type of entry in ADaM. Archival descriptions have subject, place, genre, and name access point taxonomies. Authority records have subject, place, and occupation access point taxonomies. And archival institutes have thematic area and geographic subregion taxonomies. Similar to Library of Congress subject headings, access point terms can be arranged hierarchically within each taxonomy. This means that they can be connected to a broader term, a higher level, and a narrower term, a lower level. Here we see the example of the broader place access point term North America connecting through narrower terms of Canada, then Ontario, then County of Middlesex, to the narrowest place access point term of London. Now I'm going to show you how to add an access point term using Archeon, the Archives Association of Ontario's instance of ADaM. This is the same process for all access point terms with the exception of name access points, but we'll get back to that later. First, we click on the add icon, then we click on term. We start in the elements area. Each field with a star is a required field, but all others are completely optional. To start, we have to designate the taxonomy this term will be in. We're doing a subject access point here. ADaM uses typehead, which is a form of autocomplete, so I simply begin typing the access point taxonomy I want to connect to, and then click it once it appears. Under name, I enter my access point term. We're going to use Library of Congress subject headings as our controlled vocabulary, so I use the information from there to fill in my fields. In this example, we're doing medical sciences. Under use for, I can put variations that I want my term to be used instead of. These are non-preferred terms. If there are multiple non-preferred terms, I just hit enter after I finish typing and can add another. Now, when a user tries to add one of these non-preferred terms to an archival description or authority record as an access point, ADaM will automatically swap it for the preferred term, medical sciences in this case. The code field is under development and is going to be a way of georeferencing for place access points. Scope notes are where you can add a description of what this new access point term encompasses. Source notes are where you can enter text or a URL to connect to the authority for this term. I'm going to pop the permalink to the Library of Congress subject headings entry here. Display notes are used for an alternate label for the term. This field only really applies to the events taxonomy where, for example, the term distribution would have the display note of distributor. Next, we go to relationships. This is how we connect this access point to other terms within the taxonomy. The most common and important are broader and narrower terms, as access point terms can be arranged hierarchically, as we discussed earlier. I start typing the broader term I want medical sciences to be under. In Library of Congress subject headings, I believe the broader term for medical sciences is life science, but since we're not using that here, we'll just connect to a relevant broader category for the sake of the example. Now see how I'm using the typehead to let it autofill? Broader terms have to already exist in order to be connected. I can't generate a new broader term here. Related terms connect two access point terms in separate areas of the taxonomy and doesn't connect them hierarchically. We'll put the related term of medicine here, but I can add multiple. Converse terms are like display notes field. It's used for other types of taxonomies like actor relation type, not access points. Now we go to narrower terms. See how it says add new. That's because we are adding a completely new access point term. We cannot connect existing access point terms as narrower terms. When we enter something in here, it generates a new access point term, but it only includes information in the taxonomy, name, and broader term fields, all of which it inherits from the term we're making right now. Let's check Library of Congress subject heading to see what narrower terms we can add. Pathology, let's do that. Next, we click Create, and there it is. We see its classified entry here, beginning with the broadest term in the hierarchy and going down to the term we just added. We can also see the narrower term listed here. And since I just made this narrower term, we can click on that and see its entry too. See how it only has the information it inherited from the broader term. If I wanted to add more information, I can click Edit. If I wanted to add a narrower term to pathology, rather than the way we just did in our example, I can also just click Add Term, and it will inherit those inherited fields. To delete a term, all you have to do is click the Delete button here. It's the same process to add an access point to an authority record, archival description, or archival institution. So let's add a term to an archival description. Click on Edit, scroll down to access points, and we see each taxonomy has its own section. Just like before, Adam uses autocomplete, so I just start typing the first few letters of my term in the right taxonomy. I can click on it and it's added. Once you click Save and see that your term is connected along with the broader terms it's associated with, in a search, this archival description will now show up for searches using the broader term and our term, but it's not connected to any narrower terms unless I add that specific narrower term as an access point. Now, I did say I would get back to name access points. See how it says subject here? When you add a name access point to an archival description, you are denoting that a person, family, or corporation that already has an existing authority record is a subject of an archival description. Name access point terms are actually generated from authority records. So long as an authority record exists, you can connect it to an archival description as an access point. To add a new name access point term, you have to create a new authority record. To learn how to create an authority record and lots of other wonderful things in Adam, check out our other videos.